Imagine waking up tomorrow morning. Nothing looks different. The sun still rises. Your phone still buzzes with notifications. People smile at you. Cars fill the streets. Everything seems completely normal. But hidden beneath that normal day, something is manipulating every decision you make. Not another person. Not the government. Your own brain. Here's the strange part. Your brain doesn't experience reality the way you think it does. It edits reality. It fills in missing information. It hides things from you. It changes your memories. And sometimes, it convinces you that something is true, even when it isn't. The scary part is that it doesn't do this once in a while. It does it every single day. Today, we're going to follow one ordinary person named Ayan. Nothing extraordinary happens to him. No superpowers. Just one normal day. But hidden inside that day are 5 psychological tricks that every human brain uses. By the end of this video, you may never trust your own thoughts the same way again. Ayan's alarm rang at exactly 7 a.m. Still half asleep, he reached for his phone. Before even getting out of bed, he checked his messages. His friend hadn't replied. That's strange, he thought. He was online last night. Ayan shrugged it off and got ready for work. On the bus, he kept thinking about it. Maybe his friend was busy. Or maybe he was being ignored. By the time Ayan reached the office, that tiny thought had already grown into something much bigger. His friend usually greeted him with a smile. Today, just a quick wave. Later, Ayan sent another message. The reply came back. Only 2 words. Sounds good. No emoji. No excitement. No explanation. Ayan's stomach tightened. I knew it. He must be upset with me. The rest of the day became strangely predictable. His friend looked at his phone instead of talking. Proof. He ended a conversation quickly. Proof. He didn't laugh at one of Ayan's jokes. More proof. By evening, Ayan had completely convinced himself. My friend doesn't like me anymore. Then, his phone rang. It was his friend. I'm really sorry, he said. My little brother has been in the hospital all day. I've barely looked at my phone. Ayan froze. Everything he believed collapsed in seconds. So what happened? Did his friend suddenly become nicer? No. Reality never changed. Only Ayan's interpretation did. This is one of the most powerful tricks your brain plays on you. Psychologists call it confirmation bias. But let's forget the complicated name for a moment. Imagine your brain is a detective. The detective arrives at a crime scene with one suspect already in mind. Instead of asking, who actually did it? The detective starts asking, what evidence proves I'm right? That's exactly what your brain does. The moment Ayan believed, my friend is ignoring me, his brain quietly changed its mission. It stopped searching for the truth. Instead, it started collecting evidence. Every short reply became proof. Every serious expression became proof. Every small coincidence became proof. But something incredible happened at the same time. His brain ignored everything that didn't fit the story. It ignored the fact that his friend still replied. It ignored weeks of friendship. It ignored dozens of good memories. Why? Because your brain hates uncertainty. Uncertainty requires energy. Questions require effort. But certainty feels safe. So your brain creates a shortcut. Once it reaches a conclusion, It naturally notices the information that supports it more than the information that challenges it. This doesn't make you unintelligent. In fact, every human brain does it. Imagine someone tells you that a certain brand of car is unreliable. The next week, you suddenly notice broken down cars of that brand everywhere. Did they suddenly start breaking more often? No. Your brain simply began paying attention to them. The same thing happens in relationships. In school. At work. Even in politics. Once we believe something, our brain quietly starts building a case for it. Not because reality changed. Because our attention changed. Ayan smiled awkwardly after the phone call. He realized his biggest enemy that day hadn't been another person. It had been a story his own mind invented. But that wasn't the only trick waiting for him. The next morning, something even stranger happened. Running late for work, Ayan grabbed his keys and rushed toward the door. A few seconds later, he stopped. His keys were gone. He checked his pocket. Nothing. The kitchen table. Nothing. The sofa. Nothing. He searched every room. Growing more frustrated by the minute. I know I put them right here. After nearly 10 minutes, he returned to the hallway. And there they were. Exactly where he had looked first. Ayan stared at them in disbelief. How did I miss that? The answer is surprisingly simple. Your eyes didn't fail. Your brain did. Or more accurately, your brain was too busy doing something else. This is called selective attention. Most people think the brain records everything they see. Like a security camera. But that's impossible. Every second, your eyes send millions of pieces of information to your brain. Every color. Every sound. Every movement. Every face. If your brain tried to process all of it, you'd become overwhelmed almost instantly. So instead, your brain acts like a spotlight on a dark stage. Whatever the spotlight shines on becomes your reality. Everything outside that spotlight fades into the background. When Ayan was rushing to leave, his brain focused on one thing. Hurry. Finding the keys became secondary to the stress of being late. Even though the keys were right in front of him, his attention wasn't. This happens far more often than most people realize. Have you ever searched everywhere for your glasses, only to realize they were on your head? Or looked for your phone while holding it in your hand? It sounds ridiculous. Yet almost everyone has done it. Because seeing isn't the same as noticing. Your brain decides what deserves your attention. And sometimes, it makes the wrong choice. Scientists have demonstrated this with famous attention experiments. When people focus intensely on one task, they often fail to notice something obvious happening right in front of them. Not because their eyes are broken. Because attention has limits. Every moment of every day, your brain chooses what enters your awareness. And what quietly disappears. Ayan picked up his keys and laughed. For the second time in less than 24 hours. His own brain had fooled him. But the biggest surprise was still waiting. Finally made it to work. The morning was almost over when his manager walked over to his desk. Ayan, he said, I'd like you to meet our new team leader. A tall man in a perfectly tailored suit stepped forward. His shoes were polished. His posture was confident. His handshake was firm. Within seconds, Ayan thought. He must be really smart. Asterisk. The strange thing was, the man hadn't actually said anything intelligent yet. He had only introduced himself. So why had Ayan already decided he was capable? The answer lies in another shortcut your brain takes. It's called the halo effect. Imagine meeting two strangers. The first is confident, well-dressed, and speaks clearly. The second looks tired, wears old clothes, and seems nervous. Now ask yourself honestly. Who would you trust first? Most people choose the first person. Not because they know more. Not because they've earned it. Simply because their brain connects one positive quality with many others. If someone looks successful, our brain quietly assumes they're also intelligent. If someone is attractive, we often assume they're kind. If someone speaks confidently, we assume they're correct. This mental shortcut helps us make quick decisions. But quick decisions aren't always accurate. History is full of confident people who were completely wrong. And quiet people who changed the world. The halo effect doesn't just influence friendships. It affects job interviews, courtrooms, schools, marketing, politics, even the products we buy. Companies know that if a product looks premium, people often believe it performs better, even before they use it. Our brains love first impressions. But first impressions are not facts. They're educated guesses. And sometimes, they're completely wrong. A few hours later, Ayan discovered something interesting. The new team leader admitted he was still learning the company's systems. He wasn't an expert after all. Ayan smiled to himself. His brain had judged a book by its cover, before reading a single page. That evening, Ayan got home feeling satisfied. He had solved problems at work, finished all his tasks, received praise from his manager. Then he opened social media. Someone had commented on one of his photos. There were dozens of kind messages. Great picture. You look happy. Nice shot. Then, one comment caught his eye. You look exhausted. Nothing else mattered anymore. Within minutes, Ayan wasn't thinking about the 20 positive comments. He was thinking about the one negative one. Why? Because your brain has another habit. It remembers danger more than comfort. Psychologists call this negativity bias. Imagine our ancestors living thousands of years ago. One person notices beautiful flowers. Another notices a tiger hiding in the grass. Which one survives longer? The person who notices danger. Our brains evolved to protect us. That means negative experiences naturally grab more attention than positive ones. One insult can stay with us for years, while 10 compliments disappear by tomorrow. This doesn't mean you're weak. It means your brain is doing what it was designed to do. Protect you from possible threats. The problem is, modern life is very different. Today, a rude comment online isn't a tiger. But your brain often reacts as if it were. That's why criticism feels heavier than praise. Understanding this doesn't make the feeling disappear. But it helps you recognize that your brain is giving extra weight to one small piece of information. Not because it's more important, but because it's more negative. Ayan closed his phone. He realized something surprising. Nothing about his day had actually changed. Only his attention had. The next morning, Ayan stopped at a coffee shop before work. As he reached for his drink, he accidentally bumped the table. Coffee spilled across the front of his shirt. His heart sank. Oh no! He imagined everyone staring. As he walked down the street, he avoided eye contact. He was convinced every person noticed the stain. When he arrived at the office, he apologized to a coworker. "I'm sorry I look like this." His coworker looked confused. "What do you mean?" The coffee stain. What coffee stain? The coworker leaned closer. Oh. I didn't even notice. Ayan laughed. All morning. He had imagined people judging him. Most hadn't even looked. This final trick is called the spotlight effect. Imagine standing on a stage. Bright lights shine directly on you. Every mistake feels impossible to hide. Now imagine something surprising. You're not actually on the stage. Everyone else believes they are. Most people spend far more time thinking about themselves than thinking about you. That embarrassing moment you replay in your mind? Other people probably forgot it within minutes. That tiny mistake during a presentation? Most of the audience was wondering when lunch would start. Your brain exaggerates how much attention other people pay to you. Because you are the center of your own world. But not theirs. Understanding this can be incredibly freeing. It reminds us that many of our fears exist only inside our own thoughts. That evening, Ayan walked home through the same streets he had walked every day. The buildings hadn't changed. The traffic hadn't changed. The people hadn't changed. What had changed was the way he understood his own mind. Over the last 2 days, his brain had convinced him that a friend was angry. Made him miss something sitting right in front of him. Judged someone before knowing them. Focused on one negative comment while ignoring dozens of positive ones. And made him believe everyone was watching his every move. None of these experiences felt fake. Each one felt completely real.
That's what makes them so powerful. Your brain isn't trying to deceive you. It's trying to help you survive. To save energy. To make quick decisions. To predict what might happen next. Most of the time, those shortcuts are incredibly useful. But sometimes, they quietly pull you away from reality. The goal isn't to stop your brain from using these shortcuts. That's impossible. The goal is simply to recognize them. Because the moment you recognize them, you gain something powerful. The ability to pause. To question. To ask yourself, is this really true, or is my brain filling in the blanks? That single question can change the way you see the world. And perhaps, the way you see yourself. So the next time you're certain someone dislikes you, pause. The next time one criticism ruins your entire day, pause. The next time you're convinced everyone noticed your mistake, pause. Because maybe, just maybe, your brain is telling you a story. And stories, no matter how convincing, are not always the truth. Thank you for watching. If this video changed the way you think, then the next time your mind whispers, I'm absolutely sure, remember one thing. Sometimes, the most convincing voice you'll ever hear is also the easiest one to question.